It's high noon.
All right, all right, all right.
Let's go, dude.
All rise, order in the court, and hello, and welcome. We got a case.
Hey, everybody.
And
It's hump day.
Jesus. Weeks flying by. It seems like it's Tuesday.
It does seem like a Tuesday, but you know, it's a Wednesday, and I'll take that. I'll take it all day. Creed, hopefully you're having a good hump day.
Not bad, but I need to rearrange my sleeping schedule. I hate getting up before 7. Like anywhere between like 7:30 and 8, I'm real good with, but it's at 6:45-ish that just gets me. But I've gotten 2 days in a row, got a good 3 hours of eBay in before I even had breakfast. So,
Oh, look at this guy.
Yeah.
Work ethic of a god.
yeah, this week anyways. This week. Nice shirt, by the way.
I'm trying to get things, I'm trying to be, in that
More.
Florida vibe. I want to get there already in the Florida vibe.
Gotcha.
I don't want to try and figure out the vibe when I'm there. I want to be in the vibe.
One very funny thing, perusing Reddit, is seeing the amount of people that are like, oh my God, there's a hurricane, which I get. I understand. Listen, if you don't live around them, it's a whole different world. But so many people think that they're going to, could you imagine? And these are families that have, everything planned out, been planning it for months and months and months. And all of a sudden it looks like there might be a hurricane. Well, listen, that's one of the best spots you'd ever want to be. But I also understand you don't want to put yourself in that situation. I get it. But I mean, it looks like this one's going to right up north, most of the models anyways. But
they were saying like you'd be more inclined to maybe watch out if you're like north of Maryland.
Oh yeah. Yeah, up in I think Nova Scotia, straight up, could be quite an issue. But I mean, I get it. But it is fun seeing people go crazy. Even Myrtle Beach vacationers that are all worried with that. But I mean, you don't want to be in the middle of all that. I get it if you're not from an area that usually deals with that anyways. Would you cancel yours? You wouldn't even think twice, right?
I don't believe so. It would have to be like direct hit. Everyone will be gone. Right. I'm not gonna lie. I did get the trip insurance. I don't normally, but my son, with his money being involved, he said, oh yeah, I want that. So I said, fine. But we're not canceling no matter what. I'll walk through Halloween Horror Nights in a downpour. I don't care.
Right. I mean, yeah, listen, that's the worst case scenario is actually things closing. Good to see everybody, by the way. But I would not mind riding out a
absolutely,
in Central Florida.
You're not going to lose any power at those resorts.
I mean,
going to be living the good life.
Yeah.
Might lose a flight or two, but that's all right. That's why you just rearrange it. Just rearrange it.
We call that Florida Mikey. Tomorrow he's gonna wear that nice straw hat he's got.
You just wait. I'll have that white stuff on my nose.
Each day it just progresses.
A little more Florida-esque.
Do it, Stephanie, please. Give me money.
Yes, please go check out Creed's eBay store.
Yes, please. How is the kitty? Most importantly, before we
went to the vet today.
Oh yeah. Does it have AIDS like my Colty?
They wanted to test her for AIDS, and I said, you know what? Let this cat have some privacy. Whatever it did before it got with me, I can't think about that.
Right?
I can't think about that. That was their personal life.
Right.
They did
thing, and
they said, look, it is a she, so hallelujah that we've been saying she, so it is a she. But we find out that the cat is already fixed.
That's good.
It was a feral cat. It's only 4 months old.
Oh. Well, that's all right. So there is a weird thing, not to get all.
This is what the vet said. There's this thing where like people come out and trap feral cats, get them fixed, and throw them back into the wild.
Yeah.
And she said that's more than likely what happened. And she's got a couple of busted teeth, but they said that comes with the territory being a feral cat.
Mm-hmm.
So other than that, got all the ear mites out. I think she had a tick. Got that off.
Right there.
Speaking of getting off, check out
Hi,
all the
Travis.
amazing deals that are available to you from our friends at WLS Liquidators on the eBay, the place that wouldn't hire Crass.
Our little shorty had like a half done one. They didn't quite get it all the way or something weird with hers. So we're glad that we got her checked because anyways. All right.
So yeah, Salem's doing well. Salem Jr. the third doing well, hanging in there like a hair in a biscuit, and got all the shots, all of them.
All right. So court today looks like we've got a former couple, maybe, or brother and sister. I'm not sure.
Well, Creed D's be neighbors.
Oh,
Across the way, really close neighbors from everything I'm understanding.
close, like you mean that they're a throuple, you mean?
No. Nothing has ever been indicated that these people were ever in a throuple or anything like that. I don't want to mislead
FYI.
anybody. Not misleading you into thinking there's some sort of throuple action going on here. There isn't. These people are they have issues with one another. The man up above, he's a married man. God-fearing individual with very bad internet. So that's where it stands. Stan.
After we say thank you to
the place where you live.
Hallelujah.
Now face north.
Gary, where are you?
That is so annoying that my computer does this now. It's
Stan in the place where you live.
there it is, Gary. Thank you very much.
All right, Ms. Green, this is your petition and your burden of proof. And so, as I mentioned earlier, we begin with you. You and Mr. Jones live relatively close to each other in the Chedworth area of DeKalb County. Is that correct?
Pause that for a second.
All right. And how long have you?
Because they're not moving. Now I play.
9 years come December the 23rd.
Oh, this thing is all.
Okay. Was Mr. Jones there when you moved in?
Yes, sir.
Pausing it.
Okay.
I'm hitting
And
it's still
how close
moving
are
and
your
playing.
two homes to each other?
It's
Right
paused.
next to each other. Maybe.
Okay. So side by side.
Sir.
So you two share a property line.
I can't even
Yes, sir.
minimize it.
Okay. Tell me what led to
I'm
you
escaping, clicking on it, escaping, still playing.
Well, it's
Worst case scenario, I'll have to play it.
I turned it down. I say, Tiny Piggy, thank you for 1 month. A member. Yeah, look, I can't even look.
month.
Look, I can't minimize it. I'm escaping.
Escape.
I hit play. It plays.
not speaking,
moves.
not saying anything,
Nothing but the
not
best.
bringing
I
attention
just paused
to
it.
me
It's paused.
has actually
And it's, well, you know,
Well, I can't even. I it's on the other screens. I can't even get.
you can't even
off
get away
the
from it.
screen.
Yeah. You can't even get off.
So I don't know how to. I don't know how.
So as
would
I
even-
mentioned earlier, we begin with
No.
you. You and Mr. Jones live relatively close to each other in the Chedworth area of DeKalb County. Is that correct?
yes, sir.
All right. And how long have you lived at that location?
Now it's screwing my computer. I can't
Thank
click on
you.
anything. I can't.
All right. Miss Green, this is your petition and your burden of proof. And so, as I mentioned earlier, we
What is-
begin with you. You and Mr.
There we go.
Jones live relatively close to each other in the Chedworth area of DeKalb County. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
By the way, when I don't know what you just did, when you just like something let's screw my computer, it knocked the video back. Did you notice that? You're just like it's screwing my computer now. It's like
I don't
we
know.
had
I
time
gotta.
hiccup.
I gotta go completely out so I can get rid of this other window because.
Okay, we'll continue on and wait for Creed to return.
More or less. To the fact that he's just done got where you can't pull in your driveway, you can't come out your door, you can't stand around.
Okay, well, here's what the deal. I'm going to jump in here because we need to deal in specific incidents. And so
Okay.
let me tell you what I'm picky about and what I'm not picky about.
Okay.
I am not picky about dates. And what I mean by that
He'll date
is it
anybody.
doesn't matter to me if something happened on June 3rd or June 5th.
Okay.
You can just say early June. But what I don't want anybody here today to feel pressure about is, oh, everybody, especially these days with phones, everybody says, oh, let me go through my phone and I can tell you. No, we don't need to do that. But you can tell me your best guess. And what I tell people is that first thing that
she's doing some smiling, and so am I. When you come in here and let me pull a creed, there we go. Tiny Pika with 10 bones, thank you. Bad neighbors, man. I've been very fortunate. I've never had any bad neighbors. And she's like growling. Look at this face. She's mad. If somebody comes down these stairs, I'm gonna freak out. Just saying, looks haunted.
pops into your head, whatever frame of reference it is probably true insofar as it's accurate. So if you said, oh, it was around Father's Day, or oh, it was last spring, or something like that, that's probably going to be right.
Oh,
now y'all might disagree as to the nature of an encounter or what something meant or whatever, but in terms of just getting what I'm looking for in that respect is a general timeline.
Okay.
Now, where I do want specifics is when we talk through the incidents and what happened. I want specifics. What I don't want us to do is, well, this is how I feel, or this is what it's like, or this is how things are now, because the way things are now is dictated by things that you've interpreted from past events. And so what I need is to hear about past events. Now, in your petition, you talk about an incident that took place in June. Was that an incident that you were present for, or something that was relayed to you by your stepson?
Yeah, I was in the house, but I turned on the ring. He was pulling up coming from the football practice.
Your son, stepson.
My stepson,
Okay. And what happened?
And when he got out the car, he said that Willie was looking at them and saying something of the sort that he want to shoot somebody.
Okay, that's a huge accusation there. You want to pew somebody. I hope she called the law, because that you want to see some pics of junk? Well, go into the Discord.
So I called the police because I didn't know what else to do in that incident, because he's only 15. And when the officer got here, I allowed the officer to look at my ring on my phone. I mean, on the door, I have a ring on the door. And my son was on the porch asking him, why do he keep on bothering him? And just a little while after that, I think it was around, I want to say like late May. They was all out in the yard fussing and going on. And the next day when I came home, him and his oldest son was on the porch, and they was watching me get out my car. And I got out the car. I looked over there first because it just didn't seem right that the both of them would be standing up there, like that. Intimidating, that's what it was. And I got out the car.
So help me understand, they're on their own porch, on their own property. Correct?
Looking intimidating.
Every time. Every time
what?
Every time anything happened, he ain't gonna come off the porch. He's not gonna direct he directed this one to me. He said, what you looking at? You want this? And he jerked his private part.
Well, I mean, that's one way, I guess, of trying to figure out where you stand with your neighbor. Like, hey, you want some of this, huh? Do you? I don't think it's probably the best way. She said he won't leave the porch, so that's good. So you don't have to worry about that thing that he was jerking coming after you. Interesting. He doesn't look like the jerking type.
And that that was just so, oh my God. I don't know how I felt at that time, but it made me so mad that I told him, I said, I'm going to tell my partner. I'm going to tell my partner you did that to me.
Tell him.
And the next
So-
time,
Okay. The next
And the-
time.
and the next time the Mr. James was cutting my grass, this was late August. He was cutting my grass and I come out to pay him. And Mr. Jones says, you ain't good for nothing but sucking dick. You want to suck mine?
It's a bit forward. Slightly. Just a bit forward. He's yes, he's like the stoop kid. He's not coming off the stoop. I don't. Is that in lieu of grass cutting payment that he was talking about? I mean, he's trying to sexy talk her, maybe. I just don't know. Flusha? No questions. Okay. Man, I wish Creed was here right now so I could draw a picture of this.
I'm sorry to say it like that, Judge.
No.
But that's what
I
he
just
said.
want to tell the truth. So
And that's what he said. And you know, just can't come out your house. Can't come out your house. You can't leave your house. You can't have people over. I don't even know what his problem is. I
So
have
the
never
ring camera that you showed the police, is it just video or is it video and audio?
It's video and audio. My stepson telling him, why are you bothering us? And that's, you know what, and every time I have told the officers, I say, if you standing on your porch and you're talking your ring, he got a ring too. That ring on his door would probably be so much incriminating damage toward him, because I'm telling you, nobody bothers this man. We do exactly what the officers tell us every time. Build a fence.
Okay.
Don't
So
say-
Build a
what did the
fence.
police do in response to the complaint that came through your stepson?
Well, he gave us a card with a police report on there. He went over there and talked to Mr. Jones, and Mr. Jones again, he denies everything. He is always somebody bothering him. So, you know, the officer just said, well, keep raising your son the way you're raising him. Because when the officers were here, the pastor came to pick him up for summer camp. Because he went, not only do we do football practice at 7 a.m., when he get out of football practice at 1:30, the pastor or one of the staff come from church and pick him up, and he goes up to summer camp. You know, where it's over now, but that was his schedule from May to like the last week in July. That was his schedule.
All right. So the only time we called the law, Creed, was when he made inference to the stepson,
Right.
that he was going to pew somebody, maybe allegedly.
No, this is
But-
the OG Salem, by the way.
That's Salem Senior.
Yeah, he's the first of the truck stop kiddies. Cold as a dog.
Did you hear the other stuff while you were gone? That
I didn't. I was too busy cursing my computer and Kavana or whatever it's called that just locked everything up.
So
Kavana?
they she said she got out of the car and he was
Yeah.
looking at her and he grabbed his stuff, his, as she said, privates, and
Right.
asked her, did she want some?
Oh, that's always a neighborly thing to do. That's not.
I mean,
to offer anyways.
maybe that's what she was looking at. I don't know. And then there was a thing of grass was being cut and she went out to pay him and he said, you ain't good for anything but Felicio of a man.
Oh,
Do you want to Felicio me?
he's married, no?
Married man. to a lovely, lovely lady that we'll meet in just a little bit. But that's where we're at with that.
Did she have video or something? She said.
She said if we could get his Ring camera, we could have so much incriminating evidence. But I doubt he submitted his own incriminating evidence. I could be wrong.
But I don't know. We've seen that before, though. It's a move that has happened here on We Got a Case before. But.
So if you're just getting here, that's what you've missed.
Excuse me.
God bless.
But Your Honor, when I tell you, I am so trying to do everything to please this man, make sure nothing get thrown off balance or just make him angry. Because you know, his wife said to me one time, you know, it don't take but a little bit to make him angry. Who are you talking about? That's your husband. You cannot tell me that you allow your husband to be so disrespectful to another woman. He said back here in I was videotaping the car. It was in July, the first week in July. I was taping the car because I went and got it fixed, showing my partner the car. And I walk around the car. And he said, "You can smell a female dog when they pull up." I'm thinking that he's talking to his wife because she's right there in the door. I'm thinking he's talking to her. But then when he said roof, roof, I said, "Oh my God, he's talking."
Roof.
You can smell a female dog when she pull up. Apparently, he's not afraid of her partner either. Her partner must be nothing he's worried about.
The way she just said that, Mystic Lady, that was a little concerning after the conversations we just had. And she said basically she'd go out of her way
to please this man. Roof.
It's that what? It's that roof.
You can smell
Talking to me.
And the wife was right there.
Yeah.
And she allows that. I wish one of my children, anybody would walk out this house and disrespect my household by being messy to somebody else. We have to live here.
So have there been any statements other than the one involving your stepson that have been violent or threatening in nature?
Damn it, Flusha.
No, but telling somebody to suck your private part or jacking your private part, that was the last straw for me. That's why I got this, because I mean, who does that? You don't even catch 5-year-olds doing that kind of mess. And this,
my God, I hope not. Is this something we compare to a 5-year-old doing?
This is interesting. Is she?
Well, see, I don't know. I've kind of thought about that too, because she said her husband has died. Her husband has passed.
Okay.
So whomever she's with definitely is not standing up for her when he's out there jacking. And by the way, through the clothes, not out of the clothes. I think out of the clothes probably would get you locked up.
Oh, speaking of which, did you see the new Elvis the Woo video today? He's wearing a costume at Universal with giggles, of course. He has his what do you call it? A fanny pack that's off to his side underneath his costume, and it looks like it's a massive, giant, long, sideways.
You know what?
And I can't unsee it through the whole video. Sorry. Anyways, back to jacking.
Man is 64 years old.
Good for him.
And the only thing he got to say is, "I'm gonna be the last man standing." Well, I don't know how that's possible, because I paid for my house 2 years ago. I paid for it from my late husband, from
God rest his
money
soul.
that I received from the VA. I paid for my house. Where am I going? But this has to stop. You will not be the last man standing thinking this. It can be your circle, right? But nobody can stand by and can't come out their house, can't have company. The children, he He called the boys gay. Look at them little gay motherfuckers.
Roll. Pardon my French.
I'm not laughing. That's a horrible thing to say. But
Right, yeah, you don't see that.
just
I'm
said it.
assuming are teenage boys. Like,
Yeah, her kids, her sons are coming out of the house. Oh, Hims wants a cookie. He broke into a whole routine. Oh my gosh.
And his facial expressions through this are pretty good too.
Oh boy. How did Judge not just break? I would have broke.
I don't know how these judges do it.
I would have broke character.
Even if I was trying to be the most professional I could be, I would still.
I'm sorry, I rehear that again. Just the delivery alone was A+ on her part.
But nobody can stand by and can't come out their house, can't have company. The children go out. He called the boys gay. Look at them little gay motherfuckers. You know, just, oh my God, I just don't know.
All right, well, I'm going to turn to Mr. Jones for a minute. Are there questions before we turn to the portion of the proceedings where you'll be testifying or calling witnesses, Mr. Jones? Are there questions you believe I need to ask Ms. Green?
Do I have any questions?
I'm asking if there are questions you believe I need to ask Ms. Green.
Yes, sir, it is. She's been here 9 years. My question is, when did all this start? Because she was here 9 years. For 6 years, she was out sending packages. I've never said anything disrespectful to this lady, and I've been here 21 years.
Fine.
This is a whole lot of talk.
But
I think the question that this is question time and only question time. So your question is, when did all this start?
okay.
That's
Is
the only
that
part I
right?
understood.
Yes, that's it. Mhm.
All right, Ms. Green, when did
How
all
could
this
I-
start in your estimation?
I estimate it started, I want to say 4.5, maybe 5 years now. And it started,
particular- As a trigger point,
sir.
is there a particular event or moment that you would say is kind of where this began?
Yes, sir. When my boys, I want to say they was 5 and 6 years old, out playing basketball in the front, and the ball kept rolling over there in his yard. The
Ooh.
ball maybe would hit his tire or hit the lower part of his car or something like that.
Oh.
That's where it started. And we started not letting them play ball out there. And
Okay, so that's where it all kicked off. Them balls.
The gay ball hitting the car.
Keep that gay ball off this car, I'll tell you. Got time for that. Oh, hey.
Hey.
and ever since,
Slight.
He was supposed to be asking questions, but I don't think that worked out. So.
He got as far as, when did this start? And then just went from there.
then the officers tell us don't let them play out there in the front. You have to put the basketball in your yard. They take it down the street now, though. Sometimes they play up here in the driveway, but that's where it started from. That's
All
where
right, Mr. Jones, your audio is a little challenging for me to
Slightly.
hear and understand at times. That could be an issue on my end. It could be an issue on your end, but I can understand fairly well. Do you have other questions that you want me to ask Ms. Green?
Yes, sir, I do. In my videos, it shows that she said that there's been no threats. Nobody done. I sent you videos, copies, where they were standing in the yard. Do you recall where they were threatening to do bodily harm and bodily injury?
Okay.
And the police report stated also, do you recall that the police stated I was standing in my door? I stayed in my house.
You're talking about an interaction you had with who, Mr. Jones?
with everybody over there. He was in the yard threatening.
With them boys.
At Miss Green's
Okay,
house.
are you talking about the police report from the 31st or something else?
Yes, sir.
The police report from the 31st. So she cannot.
To answer it, Eric, is that if he stood out there and said what he did, though, about sucking and
Yeah, that's kind of. I mean, I don't.
that's harassment, right?
I don't. I would think so. Of
Other
a
than-
sexual nature, I would
Yeah,
think.
I mean, other than that,
But when it comes to something like that, does that mean like something's got to happen first, like hands on, or?
I would think. I mean, from what we've seen, I would think that that's enough to. I mean, that would be enough, but I don't know. Yeah, the dude needs some better.
Slightly, or maybe he's just got a horrible speech impediment. Could be wrong.
Give
sir.
statements about the police report itself, but I guess I'll ask Miss Green, did somebody threaten to harm Mr. Jones on the 31st?
Not to my recollection.
All
If
right,
they-
well, that's her answer to her recollection. You'll have a chance to present evidence and testimony of your own, Mr. Jones. What other questions do you have for Mr. Green? Miss Green, excuse me, I'm sorry.
How can I say anything when I got blinds around my house like I'm in a hut? I'm living like I'm in a hut. There's
Oh, my-
screens all around the house.
Me too. When it's 100 outside.
And I
How can you-
picture
can you
Get his
question-
front door open.
What?
Oh my
how can
God.
I say anything to this lady? And there's blinds around my house. I have cameras around my house.
That's not a question that makes sense to me. We're not going to ask, how can I do this? How can I do that? That's not for her to say. She either says you did or you didn't, and that's for me to decide whether I believe
sir, that
whose
makes no
testimony I
sense.
believe. So,
Judge, this man, Mr. Willie, has a sign.
Mr. Willie. His name is Willie Jones. Or what?
Willie.
Mr. Willie.
On the side of his house, pointing at my front door, saying, "Mind your own damn business, dumb shit." If he would do, Judge, and I promise you, if he would do exactly what his sign says, that sign has been up there for over 18 months now. I use it as a motivational piece. I sure do. Every time I step out my door, I look at that sign and I use it as a motivational piece. But if he would do what that sign says, everything would be all right. I promise you. I promise you, everything would be all right.
Every little thing is gonna be all right.
I think
good
we
talk.
have the merch
All
store.
right. Are there other questions, Mr. Jones?
Nope.
And at the
All
end
right,
of it, at the end of the sign, it just one of those little hash, or not a hash mark, it was just a little point with Mr. Willie.
Like management, Mr. Willie. I mean, it's okay to have a sign on your door. I mean, I don't think that's anything against the law. It just has an arrow pointing at their house and says, dumb shit.
Green, do you have any
Every time I
witnesses you intend to have testify?
Sir,
Are there other people who you intend to have testify during today's hearing? Other witnesses that I need to bring in?
sir,
No.
Okay. All right. Very good. Thank you, Ms. Green. Mr. Jones, this is your opportunity to present evidence or testimony. When each witness is finished testifying, then they're subject to questioning by the other party.
Before we get to that, though, Willie is a character. Quite the character.
To say the least.
He's Nightbot.
Pamela, thank you. As you can see, not only do we deal with everything else, but the comments are skippy today too.
I saw that too.
Lovely day.
It's gonna be a good one. Only got 2 more shows to go after this.
3 from
The same way that Ms. Green was a moment ago. You can present your testimony and your witnesses in whatever order. If you want to go first or last or whatever, then you can do that. I know that you said you had Miss Jones and wish to have her testify as well. So how would you like to begin, with your testimony or Miss Jones?
Well,
Right now, I'm a little confused at what I'm doing. I presented all the evidence I could present. I presented
No, you haven't
videos
presented any evidence.
showing
You put some stuff in
Willie.
advance. So this is the actual hearing. You don't. So let me walk through this. I know you sent in some exhibits and whatnot.
Mhm.
Those have not been presented in open court. They have not been reviewed by the other party. They have not been reviewed by the court to make sure that those things are admissible and appropriate for this hearing. For all I know, you've sent in things that are inappropriate or can't be authenticated. That means we can't verify that they are what they purport to be. And so the things you've submitted may not be appropriate.
I'm pretty sure that's his wife just come rolling in.
yeah. She does not look happy, by the way.
Miss Willie just rolled into the room.
Well,
Maybe she will help Mr. Willie out.
Appropriate as evidence in this hearing. What happens in these cases is that the witnesses, you've already been sworn in. If Ms. Jones testifies, she will be sworn in as well. You provide a verbal statement. You don't get to provide a written statement that you send. I know you did this, but your written statement can't just be submitted in advance and stand on its own. It's given through testimony and then vetted through questioning. And so for the hearing, I would hear from you if you wish to make your statement. And then you would be questioned. I would hear from Miss Jones. If she wished to make a statement, she could go before you or after you. And then she would be questioned after she finished giving her statement. And then I would, if there is evidence or documents or records that are presented alongside the testimony, then I will rule on those as they are brought to my attention or as they are shared.
well, as a quick thank you, late fee entered. You're good to go.
37 minutes and 27 seconds.
Okay.
Good to hear Willie send in some stuff.
Yeah, but it almost sounded, I think that Judge said it maybe a little bit
He's really patient today.
odd, but almost like they were somewhat inappropriate, what he sent in. Like, I understand that they might not have been able to say that. I don't know. I'd love to know more about that. Just
Yeah,
the way he said that.
Yeah, he's definitely handling it well. I'll give that to Judge Dude. He's handling the situation well.
With the court. So would you like to start with
Can
your
I-
testimony?
Can I get one second to try to explain to him what you're telling him? Because he's confused right now.
Oh, she wants to explain to him.
What
Mr.
he's
Jones,
telling you
what
is-
are you?
Confused about.
Take your best shot, ma'am.
Okay.
Good
What
luck.
he's telling you is, now that she's done hers, you read the statement. When it comes to your evidence, you ask him to look at the different videos and pictures. He'll rule as to whether or not he's going to use them, allow you to use them,
She's doing
and
a great
then you,
job.
him, and Ms. Green are going to look at the videos
That she really is.
for the evidence that you have. So you haven't submitted any evidence. All
Okay.
we did was
Okay.
upload some things, some documents to the court.
Wow, good
Okay.
for her.
All right. So Mr. Jones, do you want to have Miss Jones go first or do you want to go first?
I can go first.
All right.
Okay, then Miss Jones will have to relocate, and
I can
when it's her turn, you can just go
Just
and get
gotta
her.
roll
okay?
out.
All right,
Yes.
Mr. Jones, you have been sworn in. You've been neighbors with Miss Green for 9+ years. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Tell me what's been going on from your viewpoint between your household and Miss Jones's household, Miss Green's household. I am so sorry.
Okay. The police has been called to our resident about cameras. She told the officer that the cameras were facing the house. And code enforcement had gave notice. Code enforcement, we called and never gave us notice. They still have no record of anything concerning cameras on the house.
Okay, so she called the cops
For code enforcement.
because he had cameras that were pointing towards her house.
That's legal though, no? I don't think that's
I've got cameras pointing towards my neighbor's house. I mean, I can't help it that they live across the way. Can't do anything about that. If you notice, watch her. She keeps doing something with her mouth. Does she have her tongue pierced?
Oh,
I mean, she almost seems like somebody that has their tongue pierced, like she's messing with it or something. I don't know. I could be wrong. She could be chewing tobacco. I don't know. But keep an eye on that. So I'll try and decipher what he's saying as much as I can.
Thanks.
We also and said also we cited the cameras. I present exhibits A1, A2, and A3 concerning that.
Okay.
All right. So
To create
I'm
a
seeing,
space.
hang on.
She's got her tongue pierced. I just saw a little metal piece come between her lips.
I'll leave that one alone.
All right, so he's got exhibits, and we're going to look at them.
Maybe.
Hang on.
Maybe,
No,
because remember,
when-
Judge,
once you start talking about exhibits, we got to make sure we're talking about
X to the Z.
the right things. So,
What could he possibly caught her on camera doing? Like, what would you think? What would you think
Right
the things are?
all right.
I don't know.
So
Nothing.
we're going to pull up an exhibit and screen share it. Madam
I know
Clerk,
with my
just pick
camera you
something,
can't
I guess.
see but
We'll
so
see
much.
what we
for
have.
for
Whatever you
listening.
think would have been
We're going
one.
to see them.
And then
What
we'll
you-
screen share it and see what it is.
I hope it's what we think it is. That's a piece of paper, Will.
All right. So this is a written statement you provided. I'm going to hear your testimony, so we don't need to do a written statement. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. Very good. So we're going to move on to your next exhibit.
That was just a written statement about what he just said.
Adam the Woo had one up until a year or two ago.
Yeah, of course it is. What is this?
Okay.
Certain people that
So this is a police report that you submitted, and this police report is from the end of July. And so this was an incident where you called the police. Is that correct, Mr.
It says for simple
Jones?
assault.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay. And when you called the police interviewed you, took a statement, and then they declined to make any arrests. Is that correct?
Well, they said the only reason they could not make an arrest because they had to identify the subject.
Okay. Can I see page 2, please? And so this was about an incident you had with an unknown male at your property, correct?
Got an address.
Yes, sir. He was out in the
Okay.
cul-de-sac.
With an unknown male.
Yeah. It just says, I spoke to Timmy and Willie Jones. They said that a neighbor at whatever address, Rosa Green, Miss Green down there, and her family members threatened to assault him. Mr. Jones provided video footage of the incident. The video showed Miss Jones inside his home and an unknown male arguing at Mrs. Green's residence. The unknown male commented to beat him, showed up, showed the argument continuing, the unknown male walking outside into the cul-de-sac. So this is a cul-de-sac, guys.
Yeah.
And saying he would beat his ass. Video 3 showed Mr. Green and Mr. Jones arguing, and another male saying, You're going to stop messing with my wife. There was no physical, Timmy. There was no physical altercation in the video. So somebody is accusing him of messing with his wife.
Okay.
But this is an unknown male. Mr. Jones said that they didn't want the situation to escalate any further and that they were going this was an ongoing issue. Mr. and Mrs. Jones received a case number, blah, blah, blah. I have told both parties of the incidents to stop communicating with each other. However, each party continues to agitate the other. Dun, dun, dun.
And on the video,
this unknown male made verbal threats to you.
Yes.
The unknown male. Kind of weird that it
All
doesn't
right.
know who it
And
is.
so that was not.
Mhm.
So no part of that depicted an actual incident or altercation between you and Miss Green, correct?
No, but they were a part of it because they
were affiliated with her. With that.
Yes.
Okay. And then I think, was there one more exhibit?
A3.
Oh yeah, here, Willie.
And this was this the police report from June for the incident with Miss Green's stepson?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, can we see page 2 and rotate it? And so the police reviewed video footage from both of you as part of this incident. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All this, it was got the address again. I spoke with the complainant, Rosa Green, and her son. Miss Green said that the neighbor threatened to blow her son's head off.
No.
As he returned from football practice. Mrs. Green also advised that is consistently a problem in the neighborhood. Blah, blah, blah. Somebody else, I guess a neighbor or whoever, said she had exited his friend's car and walked towards the home and overheard him say he was going to blow both of their heads off.
I don't know why I get this feeling, but it's almost like a Villages type thing that all went bad and now everybody's out to get everybody. I don't know why I feel like there was a lot of intermingling things between a lot of neighbors and such. I don't know. Now it just seems like very odd.
It's like everybody has a vendetta against each other.
And the determination they made is that there was not sufficient evidence to bring charges as a result of that incident, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Correct.
Okay.
Okay.
So to put it another way, nobody went to jail that day. Nobody, from the evidence that everybody's presented today, it doesn't sound like anybody has been arrested for any conduct toward the other party.
No, sir.
No.
Okay. Well,
So then the police.
it's good to find common ground.
Yeah, it's
I
like
did-
push.
I brought
Agree
it
on
up.
their facts. Mr. Jones, your audio, it sounds like if you've ever been to a drive-through where the speaker
didn't-
box is broken, that's a little bit that's where we're at right now.
Jeez.
It's still bad.
Okay.
Hers is
I brought that
immaculate,
to
by the
you
way.
For a reason. The statement that was made on here, there's two different statements, if you can read them. Those statements, one said, I threatened to blow her son's head off.
Mhm.
Then statement two said, he
Bad
overheard
place to cut out.
somebody going to blow somebody's head off. This is both to the police on the statement. But the statement that came to the court was that he said, said on the statement to the court, paragraph number 4, Javante, my stepson, who is 15, he told him he wanted to shoot somebody. So I called the police. This
Okay.
what she made to court.
Paraphrasing.
But what she
Maybe.
made to the police, she said he wanted to blow somebody's head off. The kid said he overheard him say he wanted to blow somebody's head off.
Which one was it?
It's not my statement. These are statements of one statement is on the police report, 613.
Judge, dude, you can't let her yell out like that.
The other statement
No,
is
it's
to the
need to be
court
Decorum, I believe they call it.
on paragraph number 4.
All right, well, I've got all the documents and evidence, so I can review those and make the appropriate determinations myself.
He's still going.
So
Still
here's
reading.
what we're gonna do
Thank
next. Miss Green,
All right.
this is your opportunity to have questions for Mr. Jones. If you have questions, you will tell me what you want those questions to be.
Good luck. Mr.
I will sometimes rephrase them or reframe them in a way that I think makes them more helpful to me or more relevant to the case as it's
Is she
being
in a
decided.
bedroom or the living room?
Mr.
Oh.
Jones, once you've been given the question from me, it will be your turn to answer. The important part of this process is that everybody is a little bit patient for the delay with the video so that everybody can hear each other and the audio can come through without being garbled or us accidentally talking over each other. Because sometimes when people are too eager to answer, they jump in too quickly and then nobody understands anything. And that includes me. So, Miss Green, do you have questions for Mr. Jones
Just
that you think the court should be asking?
Just say no.
Yes, sir. The only thing I want to understand is, what did I do to deserve all that profanity, all that messing with his private part, even inviting me to his body part? What did I do to deserve that? And how can we move forward to get this resolved?
Wow. I mean, first of all, you can get a protection order, I guess.
Open invitation to my private areas,
For me.
friend. You know, some people want to borrow a cup of sugar. Maybe you want to borrow a cup of this. You know what?
I'm going to blow your mind here, KCC. In southern states, like we'll say South Carolina and where they're at in Georgia, they even have ceiling fans on porches outside.
I got one on my porch. I even have one in my garage. There's one in every room in my home except for the bathroom.
Yeah.
Every
It
room.
does have a fan in it. It's a sucking fan.
Yes. Just strictly sucking. This one blows.
Yes.
What can we do to fix this, Creed?
All right, so it's kind of odd. Almost like she's like, okay, so this is going to be a wash, or we're not going to get the protection order. So now I want to rephrase it this way and say, can we now just have a therapy session and work this out so that we can live next to each other? I don't know. I think listen, the ball hitting his wheel, was it, of his car?
Yeah, maybe the side of his car too. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, to get to this point, I don't know if that's really a catalyst for that. I think there's more to the story.
That was almost 9 years ago. It was right after they moved in. Their kids were like 5 and 6, and now they're like 15. So,
right.
Again, Willie, well, at least Willie's being nice and inviting her. I like the way she put that, inviting me to enjoy his nether regions. Yes, of course.
Nice way. Oh yeah.
Because
all right, well, I'm going to ask half of that. So, Mr. Jones, you know what your motives are when you make sexually suggestive remarks to her.
Your Honor, I can answer. I have never said anything to this lady disrespectful. I have neighbors in this neighborhood. I've been here 21 years. My neighbor next door, 18 years. All the rest of the people have been here over 20 years. I've never said anything disrespectful to this lady. And for how we can get along, Your Honor, I've had no problem with nobody nowhere in this neighborhood. I respect people regardless. I have no history of that.
Jesus.
I have no history of that. How can we get along? Your Honor, how we can get along is I mind my business, she mind my business. I
It may be better
I
now.
for 50 years and never opened my mouth to this lady. And it don't even matter. I am retired. I'm trying to enjoy my life. I have
Look at her
two
laughing.
disabled kids I'm trying to care for. And I don't have to be here going through with a headache.
And he's got 2 disabled kids.
All this I did. Probably that is a lie. She puts the statements that she done made is criminal. And I would like if they could turn this over to this person, we can get some polygraph tests, and I prove it. I'm telling the truth. I will prove it. I will take that polygraph test any time. I have never said anything disrespectful to this lady. I got the statements on the video. The only thing we had a conversation about, I asked you I said, are you threatening me to come to the street? Are you threatening me? Oh, he said, just left. It's all on video. Otherwise, I said nothing to him. Nothing at all. I don't appreciate being talked. My wife has been right here. Why would I make a statement like that to you? I don't even
That is the
before you got married, and I had problems.
Hey, everybody quiet.
Your Honor, he does it in front of his.
What did I just say?
Yes, sir.
So
shut it down.
I gave a whole speech at the beginning about being choosy about your questions because you're going to ask questions and get answers you don't like. And now you've asked a question that's not helpful and you've got an answer you don't like. And now you two are talking over each other and squabbling instead of actually producing information for this court that can help decide the case. So I've heard as much of Mr. Jones's articulation. He predictably denied the conduct that you allege that he did, which is what we're having this hearing to decide in the first place. Now, what other questions do you have for Mr. Jones?
None. Say none.
Just have him to leave me alone. Don't say anything to me when I come out that door. He said he wanted to be there for his disabled kids. He sure have a room.
All right, this is the time for questions, not argument and requests of the court. So I understand where you're coming from, but we're not at that portion of the proceeding. So Mr. Jones, if we were in the courtroom, this would be the part where I would tell you could step down from the witness stand, so to speak. In this situation, what it really means is you're going to slide over a little bit and make room for Miss Jones so that she can make her statement. So you can go bring her back in, and then both of you can stay Kramer on camera.
Dun 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 dun.
Really is rolling in. You weren't kidding.
Very dramatic.
All right, Miss Jones, I'm going to ask if you would please raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm your statements today will be the truth under penalty of perjury?
Yes, I did.
Thank you. You can put your hand down. What can you tell us about interactions you've observed between Mr. Jones and Miss Green?
Okay, what I can tell you is she's very correct. This whole thing started over basketballs hitting our car. And they were going at a pretty high rate of speed, a couple of times marks. I went over personally to speak with Miss Jones, Miss Green, try to talk to her, mother to mother. Basically, kids can be kids, yes, but don't want our property destroyed while kids are being kids. She told me at that time that she never had a problem with my husband, and we agreed that we were going to keep our children, from destroying property. And like a couple of times her kid did the gun thing at our home, that's on the porch. And so we were going to stop our children from making rude gestures, and we were going to be friends and live comfortably together. Because our homes are close together and we both have front porches, it's not unlikely that we're both on the porch at the same time. So it's necessary just to live and let live. That's what she and I decided when we talked. As far as her and my husband's communications, they have argued back and forth. Nobody threatened. No, there's been no.
Okay, she just shot down everything her husband said. She said they have argued back and forth.
Right.
He said he ain't never said anything to her. Now he's saying, yeah, they've argued back and forth. And it did start from the basketball thing and them driving too fast.
So she says. All right, so they buried the hatchet, though, the ladies.
The ladies, all the single ladies.
And it doesn't seem like they have an issue together. I mean, it doesn't
seem like there's one between the two of them, no.
Yeah. Huh.
But she also claimed that she was right there when the man was, licking his bick.
Sexual overtures. The time on the 28th that they had the police report for, she and her husband and somebody who arrived in the car with her husband were all yelling at my husband, telling him to come out there. I was saying, come in the house. She was hollering, go ahead, beat his ass. I got bail.
Beat his ass. I got bail.
So I was like, coming, and you could watch the videos. They were the first 3 that we sent. If you watch the videos, you'll see them out there arguing. You'll hear me saying, come in the house. They're not worth it. And you hear her saying, beat his ass. And then at one point she said, I invited him to the street. And
okay.
If you invite somebody to the streets, you're ready to fight.
Oh yeah, you're asking, hey, look, come to the street. We're gonna go mano y mano, fisticuffs. You know, put up your dukes.
You know,
he's 60 some years old. Who were we fighting? A comparably aged person? I hope.
I don't think it'd be too even. Do you think that in his written statement, a lot of what Miss Jones or Miss Willie is saying now actually is in his written statement, and he didn't quite
articulate it? Yeah, probably.
I'm guessing that's why she's saying what she's saying now, because it's kind of late to find all this part of it out. No,
am I confused? She said, okay, her house was paid off because her husband had died.
Right.
And she had a partner.
Mm-hmm.
And now she was just talking about an incident, and her husband was alive for this incident. Did he just die like days ago or something?
She's been a little snarky and a little like I'm a YouTube, with her.
Yeah, she's been real animated, so to say.
I don't like that. She's held it together through this whole thing pretty good so far. Oh yeah, invite me into the streets or the sheets. She might have heard it wrong. Good point.
Either way, somebody was getting fucked.
That was the very first time we've ever had any violence discussed. Normally it's just leave me alone, leave me alone, leave me alone, alone.
Well put.
All right. Before we turn it over for other questions, Ms. Jones, any questions, or excuse me, any other things to discuss that I haven't thought to ask questions about yet?
No, like I said, our home goes together. We have to live peaceably. The 28th was the first time there was any threats of violence, and this protection order came right after we sent the police over to try and force them to identify the gentleman who got out the car with her husband.
Ooh.
And then this came, we were like, what? So we, produced our stuff and did all right that we had to do.
All right, Ms. Green, do you have questions that you believe the court needs to ask Ms. Jones?
Yeah, she said I invited him to the street, which I did, but ask her why. Why did I invite him to the street?
Well, that would be
It's
what's
not
going on
video.
in your brain. So she can't really speak to that unless you said it out loud. Did Ms. Jones, did she say why she wanted to do?
Yes.
It's on the video. She clearly says why she's doing it. Yes. She said,
Which is why.
I see you move those cameras. She said, I see you move those cameras. That's what the video, on the video, she said, when my husband said, are you threatening me? She said, I see you move those cameras.
Mm-hmm.
Those are her exact words. Watch the video, it's right there. It's not he say, she say, it's on the video. It's direct say.
Direct say. Not even he
All
say,
right,
she
Ms.
say.
Green, what other
Direct
questions
say.
do you have?
Judge, I don't have no questions, because if they send a video in with me inviting him to the street, it is clearly gonna state over and over, because I said it over and over. You invite me to suck your dick, bring your ass to the street. I will beat your ass, because at that point, like I said, that was just enough. You done jack your private part. Now you invite me, and I did. I invited him to that street. I sure did. And if they stick that video in there, you're gonna hear it over and over and over. Why? And I don't understand why she can't say it. She's talking about some camera. Wasn't about no cameras because the officers came out there like about a week and a half prior and made him turn those cameras he had directly to my door. That had nothing to do with no cameras. It was all about him inviting me, asking me, did I want to suck his penis? That's what that was about. So if they
Is it like it's like a Prius, but it's a penis?
She just threw her case out the window, right?
Yeah. And by the way, here, stupid
case.
us thinking I didn't realize this. So I learned something new today. I thought inviting somebody to the street was actually to fight. No, I from what I understand, what they're telling me, if you do these things in the street, it's not cheating. It's perfectly fine.
Oh, that's
what it is. Yeah, that's why when he says suck, and then you'd say,
oh, is that like how Knox used to say, yeah, dude, she give me the road. And I'm like, well, the road. You don't know what I'm talking about, dude. The road.
Yeah, dude, you don't.
Her case is out the window. She just threatened him.
Yeah.
She gonna beat his ass.
Yeah.
okay. Sent you that video, you'll see, Your Honor. So I don't have no questions for her.
Well, the problem we have is that our videos are highly restricted because videos take up a lot of storage space. And so a lot of times the server will reject those up front. So let's start with this. For the Joneses, when do you think you sent those videos in and how long were those videos?
Yesterday, there were 3 different videos. The first one was very short, maybe 2 minutes. The other ones were maybe 3 minutes.
I'm going to go ahead and tell you 2 minutes is not a short video.
She's just admitted to a video that didn't even make it in the being submitted. She just admitted to a crime that she's like, you got me. I'm on camera. Yeah, that's me saying it. And then we find out they didn't even get, there was a short 2-minute one.
Yes.
And the other one was like 10, 15 minutes long. Oh,
amazing. Boy. An hour to get to this point, right? You know what I mean? Like, we've built it up. We've done our thing. And then it's been a slow decline. Now it's just that we're off a cliff now.
It's just completely shit show now.
2 minutes is a considerable video. So in terms of how the server reacts, now were these all sent as a single message or were they sent as messages?
They sent one.
Was it sent over the same internet? It might still be
I
sent.
apologize. The audio is real choppy. Can you repeat your answer?
I said we sent them one at a time and as a group.
Okay, and it was Miss Broom.
Yes.
Have we been able to receive any of those?
Judge, we only have pictures and those was not submitted because they were sent incorrectly. So they were not sent in PDF. And on today at 8:49 a.m., they replied to let them know that they need to resend them in PDF as well as the videos being too long. But if you would like for me to show the pictures that I do see that's not in PDF, I can, but the videos were not accepted.
His eyes are like this big. When she said 2 minutes, he's like, are we gonna show him or what?
I don't know. I mean, what are the pictures going to do at this point?
I guarantee they're as blurry as.
Judge, I'm sorry. Did you hear me?
Yeah. So videos weren't accepted. How short do they typically need to be trimmed down and whatnot?
Yes, and they advised them at, like I said, at 8:49 a.m. this morning on how to do it.
But how short do they need to be? I know they told them how, but
that's
like 15, 20 seconds, right?
Right, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
It took them a week and a half to do that.
Here's the issue. Ms. Green says she doesn't have any more questions. Mr. Jones, you don't have any other witnesses you intend to call, correct? Okay.
No, sir.
Whoa, what happened?
Whoa! Whoa!
You
All
just,
right. Well,
did his chair just give
are
out?
the most challenging cases.
Is he on a
that
roller
we've-
coaster?
because that is a system of laws and
Oh my God.
and really a scenario that I personally I don't feel the law is well adapted to deal with. And what we have before us is a stalking order. And
A
that is
stalking
defined
order.
as a knowing and willful course of conduct. And it carries on from there, directed at a specific person, causing emotional distress, placing a person in reasonable fear for the safety, for their safety by establishing a pattern of harassing, intimidating behavior, which serves no legitimate purpose. And what I will say, in this regard, the situation we have on here, be as charitable as possible, is incredibly unpleasant. But the challenge I have is that, this is a situation where outside eyes have been brought in, and not just brought in to hear from the people, but to hear from the people and have a chance to review videos, because both of you have cameras that are up and operational, even if those videos didn't make it before the court. And the situation that I am faced with is one where one party alleges threats were made.
Hey, look, he stole my background.
And then the other party denies it, and then police review and find, well, it didn't really fit anybody's story, which is kind of a new one in some ways. I mean, we always have a saying, there are three sides to every story: the petitioner side, the respondent side, and the truth. And here's a situation where police have come out, had video from both of you, and said, well, it's not really in line with what either of you were saying was going on. But what I will say is this.
In a nice way, you were lying, basically.
The issues that you two are having surrounding this property at the moment are not issues for which I think it's appropriate to extend or issue a stalking protective order. And so I'm not going to do that.
Like
What
you
else
said.
I will tell you both is that each of you is sitting here on Zoom today,
I never
having
say
raised your
no.
hand and sworn to
just
tell
say,
the truth,
Not right now.
that you don't want anything to do with the other. You don't want to talk to the other, and you don't want the other one to talk to you.
That's
And so
bullshit.
to the extent that I can look both of you in the eye right now and say, you promised.
Mhm.
You both promised.
I promise.
What I tell people
I promise.
in situations is that I don't say no in these cases, but what I say is not yet. And what that means is, even though my finding today is that the things that have taken place do not rise to the level of a pattern or course of conduct of harassing, intimidating behavior to threaten another party's safety, that does not prevent a
Did she
party
fall
from
asleep?
coming back to the court with additional evidence to then say, well, what about now? Does this establish a pattern sufficient for an order to issue? To be quite frank, and I say this with some resignation in my voice, it feels like we will be seeing y'all again. I hope I'm wrong. I have a feeling that when you two are not around each other, you're both very nice people. And I have a feeling that when you two are around each other, you're very different people than you probably are with literally anyone else in your lives. And I say that without assigning any blame or finger pointing or anyone else. Miss Green, the things that you have talked about today are concerning, they're troubling, and they are understandably upsetting. And at the same time, Georgia's law in this area is configured in a way that it only allows for the court to intervene with this type of order under certain conditions and in certain circumstances based on things that have already occurred. And so while I very much understand your feelings
Right.
and your concerns in this situation, the situation as it has unfolded so far is not adequate. Does not rise to a legal threshold necessary for me to extend the order.
Well, that's it. That's good enough for me. Judge Dude laying down the law.
I think he got it right. I think
Yeah.
I also think he said that very, very nicely to them about that both of them are effing liars.
Yeah, because he's like, you remember at the beginning we were supposed to tell the truth? I have a feeling neither one of y'all is telling the truth. Maybe there's some truth in there somewhere.
I think there's a lot. I don't know about truth wise, but I think that we're missing a giant part of the actual story. That's what I'm thinking.
Maybe they'll be back and we'll get
well
the rest of the story.
It sounds like Judge Dude thinks that they're going to be back. So I hope that they get their internet fixed by that time.
Oh my God. Or share internet or something. Anything. My God.
By the way, what is everybody going to do with doesn't the NFL start this weekend? And nobody on Spectrum can see basically anything ABC related, Disney related, or ESPN related still. And yeah.
Well, they'll miss out on Monday Night Football then. I think that's what's like on ESPN or whatever, and ESPN's owned by Disney. So
yeah.
Yep. Time to start.
God ride the Harley. Thank you, $5. God rides a Harley with a great dad joke.
It's a winner. It's a winner. So you are on the caboose, my friend. You are the caboose. Oh, thank you.
Nice. You got your drum set back. All right, very good. The Mr. Nasty Express. I like that. Gary, thank you. Tiny Piggy, thank you. Flusha, Pamela, Melissa. Thank you, guys.
And God rides a Harley.
Oh,
God.
God.
The caboose.
God rides a Harley. Almost forgot.
I love you guys.
What did we all learn today? Well, she learned that we have outdoor fans everywhere. And I learned that if you do it out on the street, who was it? Voss that said, yeah, it's like maritime law. It's like when you go on the
if it's in the street,
yeah,
good to go.
When you get just so far out in the ocean, right? Everything is
the
different.
laws don't apply.
It's just like that in the street when you live on a cul-de-sac. Well, Mike used to live on a cul-de-sac, but now
I used to live at a dead end.
Well, that's what I mean.
So here we are now.
So is a cul-de-sac. People turn around.
Yeah, you can turn around and people are having sex in it and stuff. Speaking of having sex, don't forget, come back later. Wild Wormin Wednesday will be kicking off. We'll be doing all kinds of good stuff. 1 mile down, my friend. It'll be kicking off and exciting. And don't forget, if you're a member on We Got a Case, we'll be hanging out with you at 5:30 Eastern today. So do not miss that.
Then just after that, and in between some court stuff, I'm sure we'll do some slots tonight too.
Slots. I saw somebody complaining that they had not even gone out last night because they were sitting around waiting for slots to happen. That's right. Highly anticipated.
I did say a ton of times. I don't know. I did a lot yesterday. I even had to go over to storage and work on some eBay stuff. And it was a long day.
I have a feeling that person didn't have no plans anyways. I think they were just trying to guilt trip you. Just saying, allegedly. All right, boys and girls, y'all be safe. You make sure you stay that way. Staying safe, staying hard, staying tuned. Those are the things you need to do because you never know where this little show will go. Hey! Burger.
Oh, I got a burger?
Wendy's.
I've got a Big King waiting for me, but I had to put it in the fridge because I couldn't eat all of my meal from yesterday.
You couldn't handle a Big King?
No. I got the 2 for 12, 2 meals for 12. The fat meal. Yeah. Long chicken with cheese for 60 cents, and they forgot to put it on as always.
Sue 'em.